Hello HF, this is MotionSave13 from HF, obviously. And right here I'm going to show you two little commands. And this is going to be a series I'm going to be making a bit regularly, called batch tips. It's helpful when you're batch coding and you run into simple little errors that can be fixed with just a few keystrokes. So here we go. Sometimes when you're making a batch file and you want to save a percentage sign to a batch file, it doesn't often work because you don't have the right parameters to set it that way. What I mean is, like, if we echo off to test.bat and we echo hi to test.text, and we find string, which is one of the commands I'm going to be talking to you about. Find string is a command that searches for a string such as hi in a specified file, and it outputs if it finds it or not by outputting the actual line or lines, depending on how many of the same characters you have in there. But so we're gonna find hi in test.text, and what this is gonna do is gonna output hi because it found it. So we're gonna try that again, except we're going to just find IH, and it doesn't output anything because it can't find it. And with this find string command, I'm going to be showing you that error levels are compatible with your batch file in creating other batch files. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so if we CLS that and we try to find string ih.text and it doesn't find it, we echo %errorlevel %. And what echoing the error level finds the command right before it, and it sets a variable either 0 or 1 or 9009. And what happens is, if you type a good command like find string and it outputs the bad decision or not wanted, it sets an error level to 1, which is yes, sort of as to speak, as having an error level. So right here we have an error level, it's 1, and if we try find string hi.text and then we echo our error level, it's 0 because we didn't have an error, so it's all good. The thing is, when you're doing this with batch files and you want to make other batch files with percentage characters in them, like this, there's a certain thing you have to do. I call it the up6 method, UPSIX, and what you have to do is, well, first I'm going to create a test, and we're going to just say echo %errorlevel % to er.bat. Okay, and if we type er.bat, we get a number, and notice how it didn't say %errorlevel % in our er.bat, and that's because we didn't tell the command prompt that we wanted the %errorlevel % actual string in there. So another mistake people make is when they do this, they put quotes around it, which is also I think wrong if I type ER. Yeah, C0, it just puts the actual thing in quotes, and that's wrong. So the up6 method is when we type echo capital 6 or upper bracket percent error level upper bracket percent, and then we put that to er.bat. And if we type er.bat, we actually get our string, and that's working with that. I don't know how to explain that, but in er. And here we go. We have a parameter not correct, and oops, I used the wrong command. Alright, so using the find string command, you also have to use the up6 method, which is the last thing I want to talk about in this quick lesson. You also have to use the up6 method to find percentage strings. So, like, I'm not sure why someone would do this, but hey, it's just an example. You have to use this, and it finds it. And it gets somewhat confusing when you're dealing with multiple variables in 2 batch files relative to each other. But in the next lesson, I'll be teaching you about reading those variables through other batch files and assigning them also. And that's about it for this quick batch tip. See you guys later in episode 2. Peace.